Begin, please silence or turn off all of your cell phones. The Syracuse locker room is now open for the next 30 minutes. If you have questions today, please raise your hand and we'll have somebody come bring you a mic. So our format today, for those of you that are just now joining us, we'll have an opening statement from the head coach, followed by questions for the student athletes, and we'll finish with questions for the coach. With that being said, I'd like to introduce Syracuse head coach Quentin Hillsman, joined by student athletes Alexis Peterson, Brianna Butler, and Briana Day. Coach, an opening statement, please.
Yes, we're very happy to be back in the tournament. Obviously, it's great to end your season in this tournament, and this is what you work for. This is what you train for every day. And we go into this tournament thinking, we are one of 64 teams that can win a national championship. And it's great to be in that position. I felt that all year long we've been battling a few things, injuries and just short bench and short numbers. But I feel like our kids have really competed at a tremendously high level. Obviously losing Brittany Sykes early, and only having her up from 3 games was a blow to us. But our players really stepped up, and they've done a good job in her absence. And obviously losing Diamond Henderson late in the season, that was a player that stepped in and took up a lot of slack that we lost. Without Sykes, that's a blow too. But our kids are very competitive and they play hard, and I think that's why we are where we are today, because they just really refuse to lose and they compete at a very high level. Coming into this tournament, obviously our goal is to play well and play clean basketball and to win the game. And you're looking at Nebraska, who is right in front of you, and they're a very good basketball team. They have very good concepts, a very good scheme. They're a winning program, and when you think of Nebraska women's basketball, when you think of winning, and you think of them being one of the top teams in the country in field goal percentage and defensively, they are a tremendously disciplined defensive team, and they do some really good things on both ends of the floor. So we know that when you're going into this 8-9 game, this is an even game. It's an even matchup. So we know we have to compete at a very high level and play clean basketball, take care of the ball, and hopefully we can shoot around 40% and be able to get our press set and play our tempo and play our pace. And I think that's going to be the key of the game. But most importantly, we just need to compete at a very high level and tomorrow night be ready to play.
Thank you, Coach. Questions for the student athletes? On the left side.
For Briana Day, Nebraska's got some height that they'll probably try to challenge you with. How difficult do you think it'll be to try to overcome that and still get your points?
I don't think it's going to be difficult. I just have to play hard and play smart and stay in the game. I think that's all it comes down to, is just effort and playing hard.
Other questions for student athletes? In the back on TV.
I know you girls have Nebraska first and that's your focus, but when you found out the draw and that you'd be matched up with South Carolina potentially again if you were to take business and they were in round 1, what was sort of a reaction to just the bracket and how it laid out for you guys coming here to South Carolina?
I think it's a rematch because we played them earlier in the season and we were pretty close to beating them. We came up a little short, so I think it's just a second chance to come out with the win if we make it that far, when we make it that far.
Other questions? Right side.
Briana, you guys have several players from Georgia, North Carolina, in that area. How's Syracuse recruited so well in the South, and what's the kind of sales pitch to get you guys to come up there?
Well, at first it was the food. It's like, I just like the campus and the coaches and my team are pretty great. So, I mean, it was a lot of factors, but overall that's what it was, just having a family since when we came here, and that's what got us up here, or in Syracuse.
Back right on TV.
Brianna Butler, you've obviously been here for the past few NCAA tournaments. Does it get easier, and do you get more comfortable every time you get in the NCAA tournament as you go along here?
Well, it's definitely a blessing to be able to be in the NCAA tournament for 3 years now. but I don't think it gets easier. I think it gets tougher. Competition is always going to be there. It's the big dance, and you just want to get out there and, play as best as you can and continue to dance on.
All right, left side, up front.
Brianna, you had a really good game against South Carolina in the Bahamas. Just what did you see in their matchups that allowed you to kind of get through their defense and attack the rim?
Well, I think it started on defense because we packed the paint and we knew their strongest points were their post players. And I think our forwards did a really good job of staying inside of them and just allowing me to get rebounds over them. Like, I think we played that really well. And, I mean, when it comes to offensively, you just have to play hard and attack them. And that's all. I mean, that was the game plan, just attack them and think in your mind that they can't guard you, and that's the mentality you have to have. So I think that's why it was so good.
Back right.
Alexis, your role's a little different this year than it was last year when you were kind of thrust into a bigger role once Brittany went down. How much different is it for you this year, kind of, knowing what kind of role you're going to have going into this tournament?
It's a lot different from last year. Obviously I'm playing a lot more this year and taking on a little bit more of a scoring role. So I think it's just going to be important for me to stay focused and stay prepared and stay engaged the entire time.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Up front on the left.
For any of y'all, when you saw Aja Wilson, she kind of led that comeback in the Bahamas. What did you think of her, and how have you seen her progress during the season, if you've had a chance to watch her?
We think Aja Wilson is a very good player. She's one of the top-tier freshmen in the country. We haven't really been able to track her progress, but, she came out against us and she competed hard, and she did everything her coach asked her to do.
Question in the back on TV.
I don't know how much you know about the attendance here throughout the season, but this is the #1 attendance for women's basketball per game this year. What are you guys looking forward to most about playing in an environment where you know it's going to be loud, there's going to be a lot of eyes on you, maybe something you're not accustomed to throughout the season where you guys play at Syracuse?
I think we just look forward to the opportunity to play. And if it's in front of a big crowd, we're grateful for that too. Women's basketball doesn't really get that much support, so we think it's a good thing if, people are starting to come out and kind of recognize the talent that is here in women's basketball. So we look forward to it.
Question on the right side.
For any of you, as you've started to study Nebraska in the last few days, what stands out about them, and what has Coach emphasized that you'll have to do well to beat them?
Nebraska's a great team. They've had a lot of good defeats this year against some great teams, and 4 of their starters are seniors, so this is going to be a big bang for them. Come out here and play as hard as they can, and they just move the ball very well in the zone. So we just have to come out there and compete and do the little things and do what we do, and hopefully it'll lead to our success.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.